Some cast members of Sex Education almost failed their auditions, while others were just lucky to be given a trial. One of the unique things about Sex Education is that it was a breakout role for many of the cast involved. And this is because the casting director, Lauren Evans, used a particular way to source talents since the beginning of the series, which worked. So Lauren revealed that they were allowed to cast unknown and upcoming actors rather than those who were already well known. The search for the show's cast was then extended beyond theatrical agencies to drama groups, weekend drama sessions, and national youth theaters. But the casting team didn't stop there, as they went even further to other non-dramatic locations like rugby and swim clubs to get the right people to be on the show. Interestingly, they found quite a lot, and most of them have done some little acting before, except Emma Mackey, who plays Maeve Wiley in the show. And what's even crazy about how Emma was discovered is that she was recommended from an audition she did for a different film, which she didn't get into, but the person recommending her and her agent confirmed that she's excellent and should be considered. However, the casting director was confused because, to begin with, Emma didn't even have a headshot as an intended actress. Also, the role of Maeve was demanding, but they gave Emma a chance, which turned out well, and that meant that Emma had to be given an exceptional favor and privilege just to audition. According to Lauren, Emma was a real risk because they had already seen a lot of actresses who applied for the role. First, Emma was told to send a headshot, and she sent an unprofessional picture taken by a friend since it was a last-minute audition. Interestingly, she passed, but the most significant test was to audition in front of the show's director, Ben Taylor, and Emma completely ate that up. For that audition, Emma came in looking precisely like Maeve, just like she does in the series. Lauren explained how Emma's audition process went, saying, "I remember her slapping gum through the scene, chewing it out, putting it back in, and Ben Taylor was squealing like a schoolgirl because he was like, 'It's her, it's her.' After that, all Emma had to do was go through a chemistry reading with Otis and Jackson, and the casting team realized they didn't only audition a Margot Robbie lookalike, but a very talented actress as well." While Emma's audition story happened due to good luck, Amy Lou Wood's audition process as Amy was slightly different. The sweet thing about the actress Amy is that she fits so much into her character that viewers can't think of someone else doing it, but the shocking thing was that she first auditioned for the position of Lily. In her defense, Amy revealed that she didn't really get to see all of the script and only went through Lily's lines with her agent, and she found Lily's part fun and thought it was an excellent role she could do well. However, her friend, who had access to the script then, told her to try for Amy because they think that Amy fits into the character, but she didn't pay much attention and told her friend she was already pushing for Lily. Sadly, Amy applied and went through about 3 auditions for Lily, but they told her they wouldn't be going ahead with her for that position, which hurt her. Amy wanted to be a part of the project, and she thought the rejection was the end until she was asked to come the next day and try out for Amy. Funnily enough, when she finally got to look at Amy's lines, she remembered her friend was right, because some of the things the character says are what she has said word for word in real life. The crazy thing about Amy's initial obsession with Lily is that she went far in her audition, because she even had some chemistry reading with different Erics, so she was intense in proving she was the right fit. But then it took the director, Ben, to change her mind by telling her, "That kind of energy that you had with Lily, just funnel it into Amy because we think that what you were doing as Lily is right for Amy." So she took the advice, and the role automatically became hers. Sex Education gave each cast a different audition process. For Shurigatwa, his audition experience was almost an absolute disaster. The actor who plays Eric in the show was very nervous during his audition, especially after discovering that his character must be out of control. Despite being very scared, Shuti made it to another round, where he got a chemistry read with Connor Swindles, who portrays Adam, a threat-turned lover to his character in the show. And when he met Connor, he doubted if he would pass the audition. The first disappointment that Shuti noticed was that he looked bigger than Connor, who was meant to be a threat to him. He explained how the audition went and how he lost hope, saying, "I remember them stopping the audition and being like, 'We need to do something about the fact that you look like you could take him. I thought the role's gone.'" Surprisingly, that wasn't the end of the audition for Shuti, as he was called back. And this time, the nervousness was all gone as he got to twerk and show his versatility for the role of Eric. It might sound weird, but the twerking earned him the job, and his thought process for doing this is very amusing. According to Shuti, the show's audition made him do what he had never done before. However, he thought he would quit acting before he even started auditioning for Eric. Eric, but then the audition process for the show took longer than expected and he was already exhausted. To make this even worse, Ncuti also got an offer to be on another series, so he didn't care anymore if Sex Education hired him, because if they didn't, he had the option to quit acting or go for the other offer. So his last audition, which landed him the role, was a reading with Otis, where they were both preparing for Amy's party, and Eric gave Otis a hat and later called him a hat man. And in an instant, Ncuti thought it was the right moment for Eric to twerk, so he did, which is an act that surprised even him. But it worked because when he looked back at the producers, they all looked proud, and that was the moment he knew twerking did it for him. At this point, it's now apparent that each cast of Sex Education has their own selling points that set them apart and got them their roles. And the story is the same with ASA Butterfield, who plays Otis. Unlike most of the show's cast, Asa has been around the entertainment industry for a while, as he's featured in popular films like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and Hugo. Although he's experienced, Sex Education was a different path for him and a huge show that expanded his career. However, from his experience, Asa has gotten a trick that works well for him during auditions. In this case, the trick helped him land the role of Otis. The trick for Asa was to ignore his similarities with Otis, but look more into what made him different from the character. And it was this difference that helped him understand Otis even better. Asa thought giving his own approach to the character by acting the way he saw Otis really helped in his audition process. With his experience, Asa knew better than to be nervous, as he had fun with his audition and did it his way. According to him, the casting team always wants to see something unique and the actor's genuine interpretation of the role rather than what you think they want to see. It was an even more laughable situation for Jillian Anderson, who plays Otis's mom in the show. After Jillian was considered for the role of Jean and given the script to check if it was a match, Jillian couldn't read much into the story before tossing it in the bin. The storyline didn't look too deep for her. She thought it was too obvious and anyone could guess the rest of the show. However, it took the effort of her romantic partner, Peter Morgan, who created The Crown, to change her mind. She said Pete essentially took it out the bin and read it and loved it and said, "You're mad, this will be good for you to do." So that was when Jillian sat to look thoroughly at the script, which she found very funny and loved, and from there, she knew she just had to take the role. Although the casting director, Lauren, had a unique way of looking for new talents, there were exceptions for some cast members. In Connor Swindell's case, the casting director already knew him from Harlots, and she thought he might be perfect for the role of Adam. However, she still had reservations because she wasn't sure if he could do comedy like the role requires, but Lauren decided to figure that out herself and had Connor come for the audition. Luckily enough, he was one of the first few actors who applied for the role, and as soon as he auditioned, they knew they had found the right choice. Despite the cast having different audition processes and ways of landing their roles on the show, they all had something in common, which was the chemistry read. It was something they all had to do together, according to the casting director, before they were selected. Since Sex Education is more about relationships, they needed to see the chemistry firsthand, and that was the final test they passed before bringing them all on board. What do you think about how each Sex Education cast got their roles? And are you sad that the show is ending? Share your thoughts in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon.